Another fun fall DIY. All right, so I got this little wood round from Michael's. I think it was like $1, but you can find these at like Dollar Tree. You can also do this in like a square. You can do this in a bunch of different ways. But I'm just gonna eyeball kind of the center of this round, and I'm gonna draw on the little scarecrow face. So you can do this freestyle. This was my first time drawing the face, so I just went with it. So it's real easy to do. I sketched it out with a pencil. You can, if you have enough confidence, you can just do it straight with the paint. But I find doing it with the pencil first just kind of helps out. So I drew eyebrows, I drew the eyes, and I drew only the black parts. So whatever was going to be a different color, I didn't draw that part. I just drew what I knew definitely was going to be painted black. So I did some eyelashes for her, and then I did the mouth. And when you're doing it squiggly like this, it kind of helps because it's forgiving. So you can go in with black paint. You can go in with like a Sharpie. I know that was like a white erase marker, but just I wanted to show you that you can go on with anything. I ended up going in with one of the Dollar Tree wood skewers because it has like a little pointed tip on it. And it was just better than any little small paintbrush that I did have at that time. Um, Once I did the black, then I went in with some blue just to do around the eyes, and I'm just doing one little swoop. Make sure you don't use too much because I kind of was heavy with that blue, so it kind of bled into the black part. So you just want to make sure you just have just enough on the tip. If you're using a paintbrush, if you're using a little wood skewer, and then I did some white. I waited until it dried to do the bottom part of the eye with the white because you can see right there it starts to bleed into each other because it was still wet. I did the little stitch like details that they do on the scarecrows on the mouth and on the nose. And like I said, I did all of this with the wood skewer. So just real easy, and it helps you get those little details. And then I came back in, I filled in the eyes, and I just went around those little white dots that I did in the eyes there. And this is also like the wood skewer is also great for doing little cleanups if you need to. I went in with some orange and I did inside the nose, again, going around all those little stitches and different things like that. And then there's a step that I did later on that you'll want to do right now before you go on to the hair. I have the hula skirt from Dollar Tree, but you can use like corn husks, different things. I'm just going to give her some hair. So I just cut it into smaller pieces, and then I'm just going to glue it on just in little strips. You can also do cute little pigtails and stuff right here. You can do it in different ways. You can give her a little bang. If you want, you would just, go forward with these and then trim the bang. But I did about 2 rows on each side. So I did one set of 2 rows going that way, and then one set of 2 rows going the other way, and they just kind of met up in the middle, if that makes sense. And they kind of overlapped in the middle there. So now I have her hair, I have her face. You can go on to the hat. Okay, so you can do the hat a bunch of different ways. You can do it in burlap. You can cover up something with some cute fabric. You can do a cardboard tube. You can do different ways. I have this right here. So this is kind of like a rattan type fabric. And I'm just going to use the end piece of it. All I have is scraps left. I've had this for so long, but I'm down to these little last scraps. I'm just going to turn it into like a hat shape. Once I have the right size, I just cut it, glued it together, and just be careful because it is hot glue. And I'm just going to hold it in place till it dries and just, bend up the edge so that it has that hat brim look to it. And then once that dried, I just wanted to give it just a little more of a fall look. So I didn't have any thin ribbon that I wanted to use around the edge. So I'm just taking this wider ribbon. You can also cut it down. But I folded mine in half, and then I'm just going to glue that onto the hat just kind of the same way. So I just overlap that, glued that down, and then you can add more fun little details if you want. I ended up adding a little bow, but you can add flowers, different things. And then I glued the hat down. And then I realized, I said, why is her face so flat? And I realized I wanted it to look like a wood round, like one of the wood slices. So I came in with a wet paintbrush and this brown paint, and I'm just going around the edge. And then I came in with this Dollar Tree paint. It's like a tan kind of paint, and I went over that just around a little bit above the edge, just to kind of give it that wood round look. And that was it. It's so quick, so simple. If you like, please give it a big old like, and I'll see you in the next video. A super easy Dollar Tree DIY that you can do. All right, so I picked up this pumpkin. It is so pretty. It has such pretty details. I ended up covering up most of them unintentionally. So if you're going to do this and you want to see those pretty beaded details and different things, just use smaller flowers. And you can also cut this poom down just a little bit lower so that the details just still show. But I took a pool noodle, cut it down to the size that I wanted, and then I'm just going to cut a slit down the middle of it so I can slide in the pumpkin. So you slide it in, you want to make sure everything is nice and centered. So I had to just cut it just a little bit more just to make sure it was nice and centered. And then once you do that, you can glue it in just to make sure it stays in place. If you wanted to use this as a centerpiece, you would put a little piece of wood on both sides so that it stands up, and then you would cover that with flowers, and you would use two of these pumpkins, so one facing that way and one facing the other way, so you can look good from both sides, if that makes sense. Or you can decorate the back in a different way. But if you wanted to use it as a centerpiece and you wanted to stand up, this little piece of wood right there in the front and the back would help it stand up straight, and then you would just cover it with the flowers. All right, so I have some Spanish sea moss, some faux flowers from Dollar Tree. You can just use anything that fits in with your color scheme. You can also do something like this for a different season, but we're doing this for fall. So I'm just taking those florals and you can just pop them off the stem, and then I'm just hot gluing them down. So once you figure out your arrangement, you can just hot glue them down, stack them up. You can put in some Spanish sea moss to cover up the blanks. You can add in some more little fall details. I have these little pumpkins. They come in a pack from Dollar Tree, and they have a little stem on them. You can leave it just like that. It is super cute, super pretty. But I do have this sign from Dollar Tree. It's a little faux leather sign. I had it from last year. Mine split in half. So it's still the same, but it's like two now. So I'm going to just take one part of that and put it in the middle of the sign. I did realize once I did that the little beads and everything that it came with kind of covered up the sign. So I just popped that off. It's just put on there with a little bit of hot glue. So I'm going to use that as one of the things to cover up the holes that are on the side, because this is a hanging sign. So I glued that back onto the sign, to the side with the holes, so you can still see the thankful. And then I have these bows from Dollar Tree, but they're too big too, and they are covering up the sign. So I'm just going to make my own little bow. So I just took some ribbon. I also got this from Dollar Tree too. I'm just going to make a little bow just to cover up that hole on the other side. And like I said, if you want to make this a centerpiece to put in the middle of your table, you would just do the same thing on both sides. You could put little bows on both sides. You can change up the other side so that it's different, but you can just do this so many different ways. I'm going to use mine as a leaner though. So I took and I put a little faux leaf on there, and then my bow, and that was really it. Again, this is just me showing you what you would do to help it lean if you wanted to do both sides or have this as a centerpiece. But that is really it, and this is how it turned out. It is so pretty, and just easy. If you like follow for more easy fun DIYs, see you in the next one. Okay, let's make these easy fabric flowers. All right, so I have all this fabric from Dollar Tree. I did this with the rag pumpkin. I just wanted to show you again that you can get all of this fabric from Dollar Tree. I cut everything at one time. So I picked the plaid right here because I thought it was cute, and I have these shower rings from Dollar Tree. So these are the ones you use to hang your curtains. They're nice and clear. You can use these for a bunch of different DIYs. So you might want to keep some of those on stock. And then I just open up the fabric, and then I'll just cut it into little strips. You're going to make sure the strips are big enough to fold over and tie. You don't want to make them too short for what you are doing. So I just measured out how long I wanted it to look when I folded it, and then I just cut and kept cutting until the whole piece of fabric was done. And then I cut a few more pieces of fabric. I cut a yellow, I cut up some ribbon. I also cut up some clear mesh ribbon, but I ended up not using that. So you just take your rings, make sure they are connected, because they do have a little like kind of latch there. You can hot glue them if you want them to stay in place, but once you start wrapping everything around, it does stay in place. And then you're just going to take your fabric strips and you're just going to tie them. So I just tied mine once, just nice and tight, and then I want to make sure that the fabric is facing outward because it has an inside and an outside. and I want to be able to see the print. But I just alternated between the different colors there. You can do the same colors, you can do it however you feel it'll look nice. And then once you're done tying it all around, it should look something like this. And then you'll go ahead and you'll pick which part you want to be the front of your flower, the back of your flower. And I'm just twisting around the fabric again, like I say, to make sure that I see the print because the inside is a bit lighter. And then you can take and you can trim so that everything is the same size if you want. You can leave it rough looking if you want. And then now you're just going to figure out what you're going to do for the middle. You could leave the middle just open like that. The ring, not the ring, the ribbon holder was a great size for the middle. So I'm just showing you, you can take a piece of cardboard, you can wrap something around. You can, this is faux leather. Usually, you know, the middle of the flowers are darker. You can push something up so that it comes more towards the front, fill it in, close off the back. I'm just gonna take this muslin fabric that I have here. This is like fabric that's used to do drafts on like sewing projects. And I'm just gonna draw 10 circles while I'm stacking it up. I folded the fabric over and then cut these like in stacks. But I'm doing 10 because I have 5 flowers and I want one for the front and then one to cover it, like with the front and the back. So you just take and you can just stretch it out, and then I'm just gonna hot glue it on. You want it to try to be as neat as possible with the glue and with the cutting, because you know, if you see the back of your flowers, you want them to be cute too. But I just took and I put the hot glue on in little sections, pulling it out, trying to get out some of those wrinkles there, and just to make sure it was nice and tight and not flopping around. And then once that dried, I just took Dollar Tree has, like, you know, packs of wooden dowels that you can get. You can get skewers. You can use little twigs from your yard if you want. You can use a bunch of different things. But I have these cut down to smaller than what they are. And then I'm going to take a ton of hot glue and I'm going to put those towards the bottom of whatever I decide to be the bottom. And then you'll just hold it in place, let that dry, and put something to prop it up because it doesn't sit flush with the table. And then I took some hot glue and glued on the other piece so that you closed in the little stick and you closed off the back. And it looks a little neater. You can put these in a cute little planter. You can decorate the planter for the season. You could just leave them out. I think I'm going to be using mine for a centerpiece, but I haven't decided what yet. But this is how they came out. If you like, follow for more fun, easy DIYs. Another fun and easy Dollar Tree fall DIY that you can do. All right, so Dollar Tree does sell wood blocks, but I had this. It was just an extra piece. It held little wood pieces in it, and then I have this wood round. And then I'm just going to take and I'm going to paint them with this nice, pretty, like spice orange, because this is perfect for fall. You can, again, use the blocks that are from Dollar Tree, but I had that was an extra, so just use what you have sometime. I have these little wood skewers from Dollar Tree. These come in the pack. You get a lot in the pack. I'm going to paint these. So I'm going to paint them a few different colors, but I'm not going to clean my brush in between because I want the colors to mix, because I want to give it like kind of a rustic like look. You can paint around every piece of the wood skewer, or you can just paint the front because the back will be face down so you won't see it. So I have that color. I have this canary color, and then I have this paint from Dollar Tree. It's kind of like a tan kind of color. And I'm just going to give the different skewers different colors. And again, like I said, I'm not cleaning my brush in between because I want the colors to mix and give it kind of rustic look. So once I'm done painting the skewers and everything starts to dry, I'm just going to start placing them on the blocks. So you can cut all of these at the same time. You can cut all of these the same size. You can mark these. You can lay one down like that. You can mark it with a pen and then just cut a bunch of pieces at one time. You can do them one at a time. You can do this however you feel works for you, whichever way is best. But I'm just showing you, you can just lay this out. For the square, it's really easy because, like I said, all of the pieces will be about the same size, so it's not that much work in that. So you can do this whatever way you want. Once you're done cutting your pieces, then you can just give it a little bit of glue. You don't want too much because you don't want it to poke through, and then you'll just lay those out and stack those. So you can space them out if you want because you did paint underneath, and it's okay if the paint does show. But I just stacked mine up, and you can see I'm trying to alternate between like the colors so it has those different color variations. And then for the circle, you can place all the pieces on. I started with the scraps that I had and then cut. It will be a little difficult that way because you're going to have to do it once you're done, and it's a lot of work. But if you want, you can do like I did. You can just put the pieces on individually, cut them down in size, and then glue them on. Any excess, you can trim that off, and then just give it a little sanding just to even everything out. And then you are done with that. I have these. These are from a stamp collection. So it had little letters on it, like little rubber stamps on the end. I had bought them because I thought they would make cute legs, but you can use anything. You can use Jenga blocks. You can use a bunch of things. I did add a Jenga block to the back of the square one just to help it stand up. And then I'm going to paint the little stamp things. I'm going to paint them like a brown, and then I'm going to glue those on top. And that's just the top for the stump. I'm going to add some Spanish sea moss, also from Dollar Tree, and then just a little bow to finish it off. And that is it. You have a cute little rustic pumpkin, perfect for this fall, and it's real easy to do, and you can customize it to fit in with your fall colors. A fun fall DIY to try, and you can put this in your bathroom. All right, so you just get some rolls of tissue. I don't know if you've seen this before, but it's super easy. I got all of this fabric from Dollar Tree in the craft section, so it's just like the crafted squares. Okay, so this piece is thicker than the other pieces because this is like a burlap type piece, but I do like the colors because they do say fall, but they do say other just all year round too. So you're going to take and you're just going to find the center and just shove that fabric in there. This is thicker fabric, like I said. So it's probably best, if you don't want to cut it, to shove it in with something as you're going along. I was trying to just do it with my hands as I was going, but the more that I put in there, the thicker it got and the harder it was to get it into that little hole. And I wanted the hole to be open to finish it off, to put in the stump. But just do the best job you can and just try to get it all in there, because if you want to reuse your tissue at the end, you don't want it to be permanent. You just want it to be temporary. So you don't want to have to glue the tissue, like glue around the cardboard tube of the tissue. I left a little piece out in hopes that it didn't look like an apple. But I just wanted like a little extra detail. I have these little wood stumps that I use for my like pumpkin stumps. I am gluing that down, but just a dab of glue. But don't worry, if you're ready to use it for tissue, you can just pull that right off there. But that is how that looked. And just to add just the extra little detail, I thought about adding twine, just to give it that like pumpkin curvature and stuff like that. But once you see it at the end, you'll realize you don't really need that. And you would do that twine part beforehand. But I just wanted to show you. You can just wrap it around and just do it like that. But this kind of blends in because of the colors of this. So I'm not doing the twine part. But I just wanted to show you you can wrap twine around it and just add that. I'm just going to add a little flower. So you can just pop one of those off the stems and place that on there. You can hot glue that down too. And again, you can just pop it out. It doesn't, just use a little bit. Don't use a lot. So this is just to show you that if you use a thinner fabric, it is much easier. Again, you're just going to find the center and then just put it in there. So I put two sides together, and this roll of tissue is kind of thick too. So if you have a smaller roll of tissue, like maybe you get one of those 4-packs from Dollar Tree, those are thinner. So you won't have to worry about, pulling it so much, but you just pull it nice and tight, pop that in there. You can see the middle is nice and open on this one right here because the fabric is thinner. Again, I'm just going to use one of those little stumps that I have. But before I do that, I'm going to take some Spanish sea moss from Dollar Tree. Love this stuff. It gives everything like a little fall look. And I'm going to put one of those stumps in there. And then I'm going to make a little bow out of the hula skirt like I love to do. And then just add a little faux leaf also from Dollar Tree too. I just popped those off. And that is really it for it. These are just fun, cute. And this is a cute way to add a little decor to your bathroom. If you like, give it a big old thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one.